Welcome back, guys. Thanks for joining me for another beer review. Hope you're all really well. And in this one, we are heading off over to the Pinter 3 for a bit of a homebrew jobby. The beer we are looking at is Tropical Debate. It's a New England IPA, approximately once brewed 5.6%. Lots of variations that can change things, I guess. So it is a little bit hit and miss. I've got the monthly subscription to Pinter. So I get one a month, $16.99, but it's just cheaper than buy it standard. I think if you just bought this standard, it'd be like 20 quid or something if you bought this press. But yeah, doing it the subscription way, you do save a little bit of money. The starting gravity on this beer was 1.05 or 1.051. If we go the original gravity 1.05 to 1.051. The final gravity is 1.010. So I've worked the ABV out. It's, if you take into account that possibly 1.051, 1.05 at the start, it's coming in at somewhere 5.25%, it said, up to 5.38, so anywhere between like 5.2 and 5.4% this has come out, so that's pretty successful, I think. Brewed it originally, I did say I was going to brew it for 14 days. I think what they recommend is 7, but I got a little bit impatient and it went on for 13 days, and I was going to condition it for 7 days. I've got impatient now. It's been about 5.5 days this has been conditioning in the fridge. I got my fridge, it was set at 5 degrees for the first couple of days, and then I've put it down to 3. They do recommend ideal conditioning conditions really is anywhere between 0 and 4. That helps clear the beer, really gives it more clarity. Doesn't particularly bother me. So without further ado, all I've done is literally just pour a little bit out to do the test of the ABV. So I haven't tried it, so it may well be a little bit lively, but that's not a bad thing. Now, I could put it in the pinter glasses. They give you a pinter glass, but it's a little 2/3 sort of thing. And I think, yeah, maybe I'll use that after. But certainly for an initial pour and doing a beer review, I'm going to bang it in this perfect draft one. Just because I like the shape of it, and I don't know, I'll just do it. So let's crack on, give this a pour and see what we get. Now, I'm quite partial to a New England IPA. From the looks of it, from what I've seen so far, I think you've got to be a little bit, don't expect it to be the equivalent of a 5 or 6 pound can of New England IPA. But it should still represent the style very decent. So I'm going to stop it there. If there is one little downside I found with this tap, and it's a nothing sort of thing, is once you stop pouring, maybe after about 3 seconds, you get a little dribble of beer come out. Not a massive amount, but it is a little bit annoying because if you don't think about it or don't know about it, you get a mess everywhere. So I've literally got a bar towel on the floor at the moment, but I did leave my tap there to catch it. Anyway, beer in a glass. Like I say, 3 degrees, probably too cold for a New England IPA at the moment because it's only just come out of the fridge, but in a glass, it looks pretty damn decent, to be honest. It's looking a lot more sort of darker and amber on your side of the camera. It is a hazy number. I'm going to say it's like a bold orange looking colour rather than that sort of deep amber. I don't know if I could turn the camera, bollocks to it. Plenty of carbonation going up the middle of the glass. I'm not sure if it's a nucleated glass, to be honest. Yeah, I think there is a bit of nucleation in there. But yeah, plenty of bubbles in there. Bold sort of orange look, I'm going to say, even though the camera's not showing it. We got a finger of compact white head. Looks decent. Let's dive in on the nose and see what we get. Now, we should be getting nice juicy notes. Well, it still has that typical sort of typical aroma. Maybe it's not the malt, maybe it's the yeastiness in this, in all their brews. But it's got that, for me, I think it is the malt. It's got that little bit of sweet maltiness in there. that you get with every single brew, like I've said before. Is a little bit hoppy. I actually undocked the beer first and then I added the hopper. So all the hop oil has gone into this. So none has gone into the brewing dock, and we haven't lost any of that. So it's all in there, and you do get a nice hoppiness on the nose. You could say pineapple, passion fruit. Has got a New England feel to it. Smells all right, like I say. Still has that particular smell to it. So let's dive in, try the old Tropical Debate New England IPA, somewhere between 5.25 and 5.38%. 5.2, 5.4, let's say. 5.3, let's call it 5.3%. Cheers, everyone. Cool, you really get that hop in there. That's quite powerful. Now I put the hop oil in last because I wanted to get more hoppiness. It's quite powerful. Now bearing in mind, these are fresh beers. That hop oil's only just been in there for sort of like 5 days. So it's probably going to still be quite powerful. But we'll do the rest of the stuff that I normally do. It's got a good weighty body to it. It's got a good weighty body to it. Almost chewy, you could say. Smooth. Almost a resinous, I would say that's coming now. You get a smooth, oily, resinous, slick feel in the mouth. I think with this, you can tell, I would say you can tell the hops have gone in pretty much right at the very end of the brew, and that it's fresh because you do get quite a bitterness in there, almost a little bit of a grapefruit bitterness. But yeah, pretty soft. We'll get to the tasting notes. I think I've given you a lot of them already. Juicy. The more you drink it, that sort of typical sort of malty feel that I say you get with all of them sort of tones down a little bit because the flavours are coming out in this. Juicy, orange, pineapple, passion fruit. I think there's a little tickle of grapefruit in the background on this. It's nicely carbonated. Bearing in mind I have drunk, you know, over half a pint of this. It is starting to sort of fill me up a little bit with carbonation, but I don't think the carbonation's too bad in it. I mean, like I say, it's the first pint out. It's full of carbonation at the moment. I've drunk it pretty quick. You definitely get that bitterness on the background, and that's still sort of lingering right at the back there for me. And it's got that grapefruit bitterness, I would say, in there. I'm not sure what the hops are in the hop oil. I've never read or looked up. 5.3% for me is nowhere until that bitterness sort of starts kicking in. It's quite a strong bitterness, I would say. I think it might have been better. Again, it's all trial and error, isn't it? This is only sort of like my third brew on the pint of 3. But I thought I would try it sort of late on, bang it straight in. The hops, the hop oil in there is giving it quite an astringent bitterness, I would say. So this could be one that would have been better maybe a few days before sort of finishing brewing. Maybe some of it would have sort of had a little bit longer maybe to sort of tone down or disappear into the brewing dock. But overall, what do I think of it? It's, like I said at the start, I was never going to expect it to be the equivalent of a £5 can of New England IPA. But saying that, it's better than I expected. I was expecting sort of typical supermarket quality New England IPA, and I would say not like a £3 or £4 can, but I suppose some of them are, aren't they? But more as something that, you know, for instance, like Jamestown or something that Thornbridge used to do in a 330ml for £1.80. I was expecting something like that. I think it is a little bit better than that. It's got a little bit more to it than something like that. But it's, like I say, it's certainly not full-on £5 can craft beer standard, if you like. But for me, yeah, tropical debate for the Pinter 3. I think it's quite decent. It's been reasonably successful, I would say. I'd say it's been pretty successful, to be honest. The beer's pretty decent. I've got half decent ABV, and I've had no issues. This is my third brew now, like I say, from the Pinter 3. Fingers crossed, everything is going well. As I say, with all the brews, I've been impressed with the kit. A much better piece of kit. I've had no leaks. I think the tap is fantastic. Apart from that little bit where you do get that little bit of a dribble, it's hardly the end of the world stuff. You get the same from Perfect Draft and Blade sometimes. They'll have that little bit of a drip. But yeah, do I recommend having a go at this one? Absolutely. If it's successful, it's well worth the money, I think. So yeah, Tropical Debate gets a thumbs up for me. If you've had it before, let me know what you think. Let me know what sort of ABV you got it at and what it started at and what have you. And that's it. I'm going to stop waffling. I'm just talking shit now. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you again soon on another one. Cheers.